Bonjour, bonsoir, dear friends. This is October 13th, 1-3. We saved a very unique moment for all of you on JCB Live. Tonight, we're going to dive, figuratively speaking, into food. We're going to get a bite of the dream of our lives. This is going to be phenomenal because we have Alex Rubin, who you've seen on the show, one of the most amazing eye in the heart of Napa Valley, photographe extraordinaire, the Newton of wine. And then we have one of the best writers. She dives for food. She knows flavors, senses. She's written many, many articles, books. She's a brain. She's gorgeous. She's phenomenal. And she's written a book that we're going to discover together. Her name is Jess Lander. Dear friends, welcome to JCB Live. They're very thirsty, so I'll go quickly. We're in the studio. Boom! Voila! Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Jess, seeing you in person is really building to me the highest level of vibration I haven't had in a long time. What about you, Alex?
Well, cheers to that.
Ooh.
With some crystal.
High vibrations.
And I'm making eye contact on this episode.
Dear friends, there she is. Jess Lander is one of the most famous journalists in our world of food and wine. Incredible writer and a brain, which I love. So, question, Jess.
Shoot.
Who made you so beautiful in your family?
I think that would have to be my parents.
Well, but is there one more than the other?
Oh, that would not be nice.
So
I don't wanna hurt
both work
feelings.
on the conception.
Let's just give it to credit to my grandmother, who I look the most like.
I like that.
Yeah.
And Jess, who would you like to look like the most in life as you evolve throughout life as a person of history?
That is a tough question.
Well, do you think it's easy to be on JCB Live? Alex, what about you?
I think I always aspire to Alexander the Great, if I could. Just a bold, you know.
Hey, why not going big?
You know, there's no reason not to, you know.
That was
Alex, you
easy,
look,
though, 'cause of
doesn't he look good in his jacket?
He does. He always looks sharp.
We've done a few book signings, and
I
I
think
find
he's-
I'm the formal.
He is, but he's worked with you for so long that he's picked up all these style tips that
He's
I have
so
not
good.
gotten yet.
I once was probably showing up in just some sort
You're
of a
probably a
button-down
slob.
years ago. Who
Well,
knows?
he likes in our parties to come in a swimming suit often at the house with a little Speedo. I mean, there's a lot to look at, of
Really?
course.
It's not a not true story.
It's always a red Speedo, dear friends, for whatever reason. So, Jess, who influenced you to be such a great writer, and how did you become such a great writer?
I don't know if anyone influenced me, but I just discovered from a young age that I had a love for writing and a talent for writing, and since I was about 9 years old, I knew that's what I wanted to be.
It's amazing. So you went for it.
I went for it, even though everyone told me not to be a journalist because you make no money.
That's right.
And they were not incorrect. But it's okay.
Yeah, but what is money anyhow? Is money that
Exactly.
critical?
No, that's why I do it.
When we look at life, Alex, I mean, obviously Alex is the antithesis. He's the capitalist of photography. He's the Andy Warhol of the Prince.
Oh, I wish.
But Alex, you have a very holistic approach to life as well.
Very much. I think you have to be doing things that make you happy and passionate, and especially in terms of, you know, work. What made us, you know, make this book is we, I think, both really care about the restaurant community in Napa Valley, and it was something we could both use our skills professionally and help the people we care about
That's
out.
right.
Which I think means so much more than paid work, in my opinion.
So you
know.
find yourself a true altruist.
I honestly, my favorite project I made last year before this was the Save Napa Restaurants video me and Keith made.
Yes.
And that is part of what inspired, I think, you to
Reach out to him.
reach out to me.
Because I saw what he was doing, and I wanted a partner that had the same passion and care and really wanted to do something and would be willing to do a project like this without making a bunch of money off of it. Because
Well,
that's
I have a
not
feeling,
what
though, Alex, knowing you and your beauty and charm, had other intention.
Hopefully not.
Who is lying?
Yes,
This is.
you know, I think he's gotten some work.
I have gotten
He's made some
work.
connections.
I
if
have
that's
done
what
a
you
little
meant.
bit of restaurant work.
But of course, how did you guess?
Yes.
But before we go to the book, and before we dive in this amazing appetizers, what does 69 make you feel like?
Oh boy. You know,
Boys?
You're the wine writer.
Makes me think of my husband.
Oh. Oh. This
Shout
is
out.
beautiful.
Cheers to you, baby.
Here we go, baby. And what else?
Champagne and good times and living life.
I love that.
Not working at all.
And living life. Alex, you need a little more. Alex, what about you?
It's a little funky. It's got a little today. At least I'm getting a little like
I think he was
taste
talking
of
about tasting notes.
the cellar in some ways.
Aha. I like that.
But you know, I think there's definitely some fruit, maybe even strawberry today. Anyone on that?
Mm-hmm. Well, I find it very vibrant and sensual.
Yes, it's very tasty.
Sensual.
I think it will actually pair very well with this burger.
I am excited.
Wow.
But we might want to wait for the Cabernet. I don't
Well,
know.
and we
We've
have
got-
Chardonnay, we have Cabernet. So let's go to Jess for a moment.
Okay.
Jess, tell us about your life. You're an amazing, joke aside, we know each other very well, and it's fun to be playful. And in playfulness, there's great friendship and great respect. And I think that's what is important and essential, dear friends, and that is, Jess is an incredible writer. Give the sense of all what you do in the world of writing, because that's a big deal.
So I write about wine and food and travel, and then some beer and spirits, basically all of life's greatest indulgences, which I know you know quite a bit about.
Well, and you write for magazines, you write
Yep.
books. I mean, tell us the scope.
I'm a freelance writer, so that means I work with a lot of different publications and for print newspaper and print magazines and online and
like Forbes, like let's throw some
not
names out
Forbes,
here.
but a lot
Oh,
of
I'm
wine
sorry.
publications.
Yes.
So Wine Enthusiast, Decanter, Vine Pair. I've written for the San Francisco Chronicle a few times. I write for a lot of local Bay Area papers, the Napa Register, 7x7, Eater.
You see,
A lot,
that's
more than I can
so
count.
exciting. So many of you obviously know and read Jess in all the locals, and for all of you internationally with the Wine Enthusiasts and many of the others. Jess, what is the most exciting trend that you've seen in food?
In food. Exciting trend. I think you keep putting me on the spot.
Well, or in wine, or in spirits,
I
or
think,
in beverage.
well, one of my favorite trends in wine is the trend and the acceptance of drinking sparkling wine, champagne, bubbly for more than just a special occasion. You can drink it on a Tuesday night. You can drink it after work. You can drink it literally whenever. It pairs with any kind of food you can imagine, so it's always a good go-to, and I just think...
And it's happening, you think, in the U.S. now.
You see a lot more... I mean, there's an increase in people purchasing sparkling wine and being open to it, but also because of that, producers are making more sparkling wine. So, like yourself, you're seeing a lot of small guys making it and having that offering in their wine lineups. There's some small boutique producers in California experimenting with like different varietals. So
That's
like
right.
we've got Albarino and just all kinds of different people doing Valdegay with sparkling.
That's right.
and just
We
doing
are
fun
with Buena
things.
Vista,
Yeah.
which is amazing. We're doing a Valdegay, as you said.
Yeah,
too.
and it's, oftentimes a little more approachable, more affordable, which makes it great for a Tuesday afternoon.
That's it.
Yeah.
Alex, are you the same with your fabulous wife, who I love, as you know? She's the best. Do you drink sparkling during the week?
We do. We love bubbles. I think champagne is always the preference.
Sure.
Or a little sparkling burgundy like this. But, local, like Schramsberg there in the book. We have some fantastic bubbles in the book,
We have
which
three
different
sparkling
producers.
wine pairings.
So cool.
More than normal, probably, but there's a lot of this food that goes great with bubbles.
So, Alex, as a reminder to all our friends watching, tell us about your big program in the restaurant world that triggered, obviously, Essential Napa Valley.
So we made a project called Save Napa Restaurants. And I had a friend's restaurant that went out of business, and it was kind of like a little bit of a shock to me. And I think of restaurants as such an essential part of our culture and our community. And for me, you know, I thought I could use my skills to help save this community. Because I mean, a lot of these restaurateurs were freaking out. I mean, they're all doing to-go programs. They have no idea what's going on.
And how
you know,
to
the
survive.
Regulations are one thing one day, then another day they're not allowed to even be outdoors after they, you know, just put up a $45,000 tent. You know, things were changing, and it was a very stressful time. And I thought, you know, the least we can do is make an exciting project that gets people spending money at restaurants and maybe just a little buzz, and you know, and it went viral. It was awesome. And then I think you know, it kind of opened the door to the book, and you were kind of thinking about from the New York. So the first book like this was done in New York.
Yeah, there was a book called Serving New York done
Yes.
by another writer, and there was also one in Boulder done that is probably lesser known because it's Boulder, but that I found out about through a friend, and I just thought, hey, if New York City and Boulder can do this, like Napa can, because we have such a fantastic restaurant scene that is world-renowned.
That's right. So, I mean, Jess, tell us, your name is on the cover.
It is.
The hardcover of the book.
Yes.
Ooh la la. I can feel you finally. Here you are. My dream is almost fulfilled. There you are. So you elected to create this beautiful cover together and to write this book. So, dear friends, this is roughly 100 pages.
36 recipes.
So, what do you want people to do with this book?
Cook and enjoy it and share with their family and friends and eat good meals, and then get inspired to come to Napa, or to, if you're already living in Napa, get out and support the restaurants in this book, because ultimately that's what we're trying to do.
So explain us the concept, because what I love is when a book is structured that way, very organized from starters to sides to mains and sweets, but then it's organized very neatly into categories,
Yes.
right? So as we taste a Chardonnay, maybe. Look at that. God gave us two hands.
Lovely.
Aren't we lucky? Let's use them for the toast. Napa Valley, 1881. This is the most historical Chardonnay there is. And honestly, one of my favorite. This with the French fries and the burger.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
So we did pair a Chardonnay with a really awesome starter.
Yes.
That would be the Charlie Palmer steak corn dogs, the lobster corn dogs. So that is a big favorite in this valley. I know they sell thousands and thousands of them a year.
That's awesome.
And it's very Napa. It's like a twist on an you just passed it.
Yep. Here we-
Elevated comfort food.
Yep.
And we paired a Chardonnay with that. So yeah, that would be a good one.
Look at that. Dear friends. So tell us about how you start a collaboration. A lot of our friends write books and love book publishing and all that. How did you start your collaboration?
I started by, I had to find a charity
Looking
partner.
Alex' beautiful eyes.
Yeah, I
She
needed.
needed
She
help.
sent me an email. Remember the email story?
Yes, I had to assemble a team because I couldn't do it myself. I have my skills, but I had, you know, other needs that I knew more talented people could help me with. So
What kind of a needs did you identify?
photography, design, those needs, editing.
I see.
Yeah. But yeah, Alex, I had heard about what he was doing with the videos that he just talked about, and already was familiar with his work from working with you and tons of wineries and restaurants in the valley, so I knew I liked his stuff, and sent him a very lengthy email pleading my case, trying to convince him that he should do this without me paying him any money. And within, I don't know, a few minutes, I got a very triumphant yes with a bunch of exclamation points back, or I'm in, I think.
Yep.
And
So-
what made you, besides the irresistible charm and talent and history and amazing biography of Jess, what made you say, I want to do it?
I think it felt like the next step for like the other project. Just really crystallizing, and you know, I mean, we've so far raised, you probably know the latest number.
Yeah, we've raised over $75,000.
What?
Yeah.
Yep. So we didn't really go over this yet, but
Let's talk about it.
So the project wasn't just to get buzz about the restaurants going. We're actually donating all the proceeds to restaurant workers in the community. And 75% of that's going directly to workers of the restaurants in the book.
Yes.
And then 25% is going to this other charity called Feed Napa Now, where it's a group of restaurateurs locally that started during the pandemic to feed the community in need. So they get funds and they are able to hire restaurants to help feed people during COVID and fires and tough times.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So you don't make any money virtually on this?
Unfortunately, no. And everyone has told us how crazy we are, but it's not why I did it. It was a lot of work for sure for both of us and everyone else involved.
Yeah, but you're such a hard and fast working.
We did it in 3 months.
That's
It's just crazy.
And dear friends, so people pay how much for the book?
It's $40.
And how much do you give back?
All of it.
100%.
What?
Yeah.
So it was actually paid for, the costs of the production, the printing, and was paid for by the winery sponsors.
So each dish is paired with a winery from a Napa-based producer.
That's right.
And their contributions helped us cover our production costs.
Yeah.
We have a few other sponsors that contributed as well, and we were able to cover all of that so that
Let's give some shout outs.
So that we could
What do you
donate
think?
some real money. Yeah, so
Well, let's have a toast to them. So
Definitely.
Chapelet, of course, our good
Chapelet's
friends.
in
Frank
there.
family, I
Frank
saw.
family's in there. There's around 30 wineries in there. So, and we've got big, well-known producers like Schramsberg, you mentioned, and then some really boutique, small people that would be fun to discover if you haven't. We've got, and when you think Napa and your wineries, you're thinking, oh, it's just going to be Cabernet, but you can't pair Cabernet with every dish in
That's
this book.
right.
So,
So you went wide.
yeah,
I love
so
it. Chenin Blanc,
we got really creative.
Chardonnay, Riesling.
Yeah.
Ooh la la.
Some fun stuff.
Yeah.
We even have a Valdegay in there, as we keep talking about it. So it's actually a really good wine. So yeah.
Very
And
impressed.
also people are encouraged to go on our website and support the wineries by purchasing these bottles as well and pairing it with the dishes that they make.
So, dear friends, we're going to promote the book, of course. You can order the book, which is very important. So you give back as well. But now, we'll come back to the book, but what do we have in front of us?
So we thought it would be fun to eat one of our favorite recipes in the book, which is the goose and gander burger. It's one of my favorite dishes in all of Napa Valley. It's also extremely messy, which might not be very flattering on camera, but
So let's do that in 4K.
but we thought it'd be fun. And yeah, so if you guys, they're a St. Helena restaurant for anyone who doesn't know, and their burger is legendary.
Let me feed you.
Okay.
Let me feed you.
Can't do
Just a little fries.
Okay.
Oh la la. So what about those fries? Finger fries all the way from France style. Mmm.
And if you go to the restaurant, what's really cool is there's add-ons to their burger. You can add bone marrow, which is my favorite. I think there's, do you know what the other ones are? There's a few others.
Mostly bacon. There's
Bacon.
an egg.
Foie gras.
the fried
foie
egg.
gras, I
They have a
think.
foie gras
Yeah,
option.
so, you can get a much more elevated experience at the restaurant itself, but, yeah.
So when, as a writer and photographer, as you pair the wine, you try every recipe. What's the key essence for you, Jess, as a professional wine taster and journalist, how you pair food and wine?
Well, I think that there's a lot of rules that you hear and the standards that are good to follow, but also I think the biggest thing is there aren't rules and you can break them and you can try different things.
Do you like to break rules?
Yes.
Have you always been like that in
That's
your
why
childhood?
I work for myself, because I didn't play well with others.
Ooh la la. Great things.
I
to
think
know.
you are a good collaborator. But you had your area and I had mine, and we kind of...
Yes, I think I'm good collaborating with people when we're all bringing our specific talents together, maybe not so much with like people in my same lane. I don't
Got
know.
it.
That's right.
I've gotten better, but yeah, growing up it was not my specialty. But for the wine pairings, I do have a background and I taste wine for a living,
Yes.
but I actually don't consider myself the biggest expert, so I thought it would be great to partner with a master sommelier to
Who
help
did
me
you
do
team?
this. So Desmond Echeverry, he is a local master somm who owns, I'm blanking on the name right now, and I will come up with it in a second. But he a distribution company locally.
That's right.
Scale Wine Group. That's Des, and he volunteered to help me look at the dishes and then find wines that we thought would work with them. And then I searched for those producers and reached out, and so it was like a very collaborative puzzle.
I love it.
To find these, and that's how we ended up with such a cool range of wines.
So how do you think that Chardonnay from 1881, oldest project in Napa Valley from the Oakville Grocery, really pairs with the fries? Because we're gonna go.
Fries.
We're gonna go with a cab maybe for
The burger.
the burger.
That's a good idea.
Absolutely.
So you think it's pairing well?
With the
How would-
fries, yes.
I love Chardonnay and fries.
I also love bubbly and fries, though. I think the last one would have also done well with it. I think.
Yeah, very much.
So
the
good.
fruit.
But
Like-
but
the oak on that is lovely.
it's very well integrated.
Great balance,
Yeah.
integration. Okay, so let's try the Cabernet, and shall we dive into the burger?
Let's do it.
All right.
We have napkins.
Me too.
So in cookbooks, in a way, with recipes, do people actually follow the recipe, or do you both? Or do you use it as a guideline to then, do what you want to do?
I think it depends on the person. I personally am a pretty strict recipe follower because I am not a natural cook. My mother, unfortunately, was not a big cook, and so I'm self-taught, and so I like to follow a recipe, and then I can do a good job.
I love that.
I break the rules. I
could
take
see
it as a
that doesn't
guide.
surprise me.
Take it as a guide, like a general direction. But the first time I make it, I try to respect the chef. And when you see some of these recipes, you're not going to want to change a thing.
Yeah.
So why did you choose the burger today?
Well, I wanted.
Listen to
She
the
wanted the
sound.
messiest option.
I wanted us to look terrible.
We want
eating
to
on
get
camera.
real.
But
ruin an outfit.
Also, we're
hopefully.
in St. Helena, and so I wanted to bring in one of our St. Helena restaurants. And like I said, this is one of my favorite recipes in the book. There's a few recipes in here that I specifically asked for, and this was one of them. I reached out and I said, hey, I'd love to put your burger, not, hey, I would like a recipe. What do you want to give me? I specifically requested this one.
Well, everybody
so.
wants to give you everything.
Well, not everyone.
So, Jess, how does it feel for you to be between the iconic, irresistible Alex Rubin and the humble JCB?
Oh, the humble, yeah.
You are a sandwich.
I,
Talking about burger, she's
know,
just in between
This
us,
is
dear
really,
friends.
I'm living a fantasy right now.
I mean, isn't it? I've been dreaming of this moment for years, Alex.
But we have the red velvet.
It's a very comfortable
And we
couch.
have the kiss as an inspiration
This
behind us.
Used to
Oh, we
be.
do.
Looks like Alex and Jess, in fact.
Oh,
So do we use our hands?
Let's do it.
How do we do that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be messy and it's
So we're going to zoom in, Dylan and Keith.
Get a nice close up
on
of this.
him, not us.
So do I feed you or do
No.
we feed each other?
I think I would be
Can feed
careful.
ourselves. You might get some on your blazer.
Quite an amazing venture.
Very good.
So what are the fundamentals of food and wine pairing? Jess, now that you go Cabernet, this, or maybe Chardonnay, how do you invite us, as well in the book, to think about what is a good pairing?
Well, we actually have a little section from Des where he lays out some of his favorite rules. You know, I think one of the things that he has in there is that I think it's salt likes fat, right?
Yep. Salt
Or
and
acid
fat.
likes fat.
Yeah.
So like having acidity, you know, with certain wines or with certain dishes to balance that out. I mean, I think a lot of people think red meat and red, and that's generally a very good way to go. With this burger, we, in the book, paired it with a Merlot. So not quite a Cabernet, but I think any sort of Bordeaux red would go great with it. And then with the whites, you know, we have a lot of fish dishes in here that are beautiful with Chardonnays, Sauv Blancs, Albarenos, different things like that for sure. Like the fish
Well,
tacos.
I'm a big fan of this Napa Valley Cabernet 2017 vintage from 1881 with this. I think the two together. Alex, what's your view there?
There's a real, like the toast on the oak really brings out the barbecue, you know? And then you get that little acid from the pickle, and it's like perfect. It's a perfect bite. And yeah, I really find the meat, you know, there's like mid-tones in there that goes well with some of the fruit, but some of kind of the mid. Give me a second here. Like maybe even some of the more herbal characteristics of the Cabernet.
I think it's really making the Cabernet jump out of the glass even more, and more intense fruit, and the acid on this is really great for this burger.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not too, this is still a very approachable Cabernet, and I'm not, the tannin and structure isn't too much, so it's just going perfectly. I think it's a great choice.
Where in Napa is this from?
It's right here. You wanted
Saint
Saint Helena?
Right from Saint Helena.
We have a whole Saint Helena
theme
going on here.
So, Alex, you're an amazing photographer. You do people photography. You do amazing reports. You do landscape. You know, Alex, you've seen him on the show, one of the most incredible, really artists. We're so fortunate to have us.
Thank you.
In the Napa Valley and as a friend. How difficult is it to do still photography of food?
You know,
because I've heard it's a nightmare.
I enjoy it because I think I like looking at a photo. I feel like if I did my job, if I look at a photo and it actually makes me hungry. Like it actually, I had a client, I have a olive oil and tomato client. One of their ads came to my house the other day. I'm on their mailing list, and I like saw this pizza, and I was like, oh, I want to slice it. And it's like I took the photo. Like I literally am familiar with this work, but it conveys a feeling, and I think, you know, when you work with a talented writer like Jess, you can kind of do the best of both worlds. The photo can push the words, and the words can push the photo, and you really start to build collaboration. Like a chef, how a chef and a sommelier work together. You know, you can kind of see how the separate components highlight each other. I mean, you think all the work, you know, I think one of the ways I look at it is all the work that goes into becoming a chef, building flavor profiles, and all the work that goes into being a winemaker, making wine. The least I can do is bring that same level of passion to the photo of that substance. You know, I mean, how many years does it take to grow this Cabernet? I mean, 4 years minimum to have the first vintage that isn't very good. You know, and then we have other, you know.
Which is anyhow 7 years later.
It's really, I mean, you know better than me. How long until that Cabernet is really where it should be? You know, 10, 15 years.
Plus aging.
And plus aging, and
well,
really.
But look how many years it took for Jess to be so irresistibly gorgeous.
Yes, I started out as quite the ugly duckling.
No, but it's only 27 years later, and look at
oh yes, 27. Yep.
27
Write
years
that
later.
down.
It's on 4K.
Record.
It's on 4K.
And you know, I've been biting. This is the first burger I've had in 6 months.
I was wondering if we brought a burger. Like
I'm in love with it.
He's been on a very good diet.
And Goose and Gander is amazing.
We appreciate you breaking it for us.
Well,
thank you.
I hope your stomach doesn't hurt later.
Oh, well, if not, you'll have to come and massage it.
Oh, was that, or give you some water?
No, thank you.
And the Tums.
What a great treat.
What a great friend.
So, anything else you both are working on now that we should know about?
We might have a sequel, but we'll see. We'll keep you posted.
Not been discussed. You know, this project has taken a ton of work, and it took us a while to create it and print it, and now we have to sell it, and so I think it's been pretty consuming, and then we both have our own
We're very booked,
other jobs.
You know, the Valley's back, luckily. But I think we're trying to kind of push the book in terms of it's a great holiday gift and kind of reminding people, corporate gift, things like that.
It's for a good cause.
If I do my math correctly, you sold 1,800 copies.
We've actually sold now about 2,500 copies.
Good. Well, so it's even more than 75,000 at $40 a pop.
Yes,
so that's
I said
pretty
at
cool.
least. Yes.
Yeah,
so
we're doing good with it.
I mean, we're doing good, and the response has been great. But yeah, holidays, it's a great gift, especially if people like to cook or they've been to Napa. A lot of these dishes people will recognize if they visited here from the restaurants that they've.
And it's NapaValleyCookbook.com.
Yes, very easy.
Which would be good. We could put that up in big words right on the bottom of the screen. Just NapaValleyCookbook.com.
And
it's scrolling across as we speak.
And dear friends, $40 only. It's $1 per recipe because there's 40 or 37 of them.
It's true.
And great advice, beautiful writing. So go wild. I think it's a great gift for the holidays as well.
Well, thank you for having us on to promote it. We really appreciate
I'm so excited
the opportunity.
and I'm thrilled if you guys continue because Two gorgeous, irresistible, passionate minds getting together to create the Essential Napa Valley Cookbook.
Cheers.
So, dear friends, JCB Live, Jess Lander, and Alex Rubin. What a time. Happy
Cheers,
holidays.
guys.
Cheers.
Happy holidays. Thank you.